Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be jumping down doing another brief update on BTC. We've seen some pretty violent moves in terms of price action, liquidating quite a few people. So I thought it was appropriate to kind of give everyone a brief update as to what is going on here with BTC. So as I get into it, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not consider subscribing, tapping the bell, selecting all the notifications, and in doing so, you'll stay up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. In the description below, you'll find a whole host of additional links, guys. Check them out. Everything from the Discord server, the Patreon services, through to Ledger, 𝗕𝗄, Bybit, BitGet, you name it, it's down there. Check it out. Fantastic stuff. Let's get into it. Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the hourly chart. Binance is the data source. Now, following on from this morning, we were talking about this magic number down here. We did actually go past it quite a bit so, right? 19,121. That was the 1-to-1 ratio. So when we were talking about this move this morning, we were somewhere around here. Let's think, actually this candle right here. So we were doing our live stream at 9 o'clock this morning. That's this candle here. We were talking about seeing kind of areas of liquidity and kind of, you know, what we're expecting. Now we were expecting a bit of a move down before we continue our move to the upside. We have come down, but we have to come down a little bit deeper than we were expecting. So let's go ahead and just map this in. Okay, we were expecting this to be our kind of bounce upwards, but that may have shifted. We'll just go ahead and take this low point for now and just see if this one marries up anywhere with this one just coming down here, hitting this 1.236, bouncing down straight off the 1.382, and you can see how these fib levels are so good. Now obviously where we were taking a look at this morning was from this level to this level using this bounce. Just here, you can see that we came down this first red candle here just past the 1.382 and this one heading down towards the 1.236. Obviously on that bounce we didn't, or drops to the downside here, we do not see us creating any kind of major concerns or anything like that. There's also overlap, which is very important. Let me just show you in here. I'm just going to create a little rectangle inside this little area here. Okay, so these wicks overlapping with these ones this side gives us a clear signal that the move to the downside is not a trend. Okay, so we're not trending down, we're just short-term corrective moves as this goes. So I think this is the actual low, so coming in at 8 o'clock in the morning, meaning that we couldn't see the bounce this morning that actually happened up here at midday today. So I think that's actually the low point. Obviously we have the series lows just in here, we can see those two just inside there, right? So it's slightly lower and then we bounced up. So if I was to go ahead and put my wave counts on here, we're looking at this being our A wave low point, this being our B wave, and then this being our C wave down here. Now, obviously, what we're really looking for is a thrive wave structured move to the upside afterwards. Okay, and what we're looking at this is a big giant ABC. So I'm going to tidy this up just a little bit. I'm going to remove these 5 waves. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what my expectations are. Okay, so we have this low point, we have this high point just here. This low point just here, and we bounced from it. Now it's possible that we continue going down, but I don't think that's really something that we should be expecting at this stage. We'll see how that kind of progresses on. But basically this is 3 wave structures taking us to $20,186. Now, as we were taking a look at this morning, we have our books on here. Let's see if we've got any. We've got one up here. Okay, this is a little bit higher, a little bit short of the 1.618, a little bit higher than the 1.382. Down here, we've got our order books for buying, again, coming in at the $18,000 level. So we know they've got a couple of pockets of moves to kind of be expected within those ranges. We're not in our kind of 5-wave count here at the moment, okay? So within our ABC structure. I'm going to remove this off here, and I'm going to remove that as well. I don't need that dotted line. What we're going to do is we're also going to throw on here this liquidity area just here. Okay, so we can see where people have been kind of adding short positions and long positions, and obviously as the price crosses these, they get wiped out. Okay, so when we start thinking about where our zones are here, there isn't any kind of real note to say this might be the stopping point. Up here a little bit higher, however, we can see a little bit of liquidity. So whether this is going to increase over time as price moves up here, more short positions open up, this is probably going to get into quite a juicy little area for liquidity. Down on the lower side though, of course, we are talking about a pretty decent amount of liquidity coming in down here on the order books, and so that's making a lot of sense. So we are still expecting moves to the downside. All of this, as I zoom back out again, is the short-term corrective move upwards. Here's some selling books, but they've been cancelled and moved up here. So sell orders that were here are now up here, so it's interesting, and we do have that liquidity right in this sweet spot. Okay, so taking a look at this from a slightly bigger pulled out view, we can take a look at this structure from the down here. and move this over to our low over this side, and we end up with this larger C wave coming right in here. Again, getting close to that order book at the higher end of the 20,000 level. So 20,777 in this particular example here. So although we've got this 1-to-1 ratio here, wouldn't be too surprised if we overextend that C wave out and really do try to go after this area of liquidity up in this range, and do expect a lot more short positions to open up in there as well. Okay, obviously we are still talking about this move to the downside. We have 16,000 scoped out there on our bigger 1-to-1 ratio. And if I do zoom this out into our daily chart, pull this down, you can see down here where these order books are as well. Huge lot of pockets of liquidity are available around the $15,000 level. The key area that we want to avoid is the 14,645, and you can see all that juicy liquidity on that way down. Same with the way up though, although we have to kind of push up into this $25,000 range, $30,000 range, and as you can see, these are quite significantly up there. So it's unlikely that we're going to be going after those. At best, we could probably push for the 25. I just can't see it right now. Instead, we've got all of this much closer. I do expect this liquidity to be the first port of call, where we come down towards this kind of $15,000 or $16,000 level. We take that out, then we bounce on up and we clear out more liquidity on the way up. You've got to bear in mind, this is an unregulated market, and liquidity like this, if I can see it, you can bet that everyone else can see it too. So just be aware that essentially this market is going to be is one that we're going to have to kind of watch out for. Let me just set that back up there. So yeah, so ultimately we can, if we are on the right side of it, we can do incredibly well. Just be aware that there's a lot of liquidations, and as the price bounces around the way that it does here, specifically on these smaller time frames, that is really where you see a lot of liquidations. Right here, you can see all these small hourly liquidity pockets. These are going to get mopped up quite quickly. So we've been enjoying a bit of a push to the upside. These are people speculating that the price is going to go down. These are people speculating that the price is going up. Typically right on these swing low points, people tend to pick up on them. So just be aware that the price bounces around, can wick down in places before going up. But generally the direction I think we're going in is up before we continue moving down. So do enjoy a little bit of a push to the higher side. From our stochastic RSI momentum indicator, we've got plenty of room on the 1 hour chart to grow. The 4 hour chart has plenty of room. The 8 hour chart here has plenty of room. The daily is up in the overbought. So we haven't got much more room to the upside before we start talking about moving to the downside. Our weekly is right up there as well, so do expect us to pull on down through some of this juicy liquidity on our journey to the downside. Now, of course, we can talk about $10,000. That'll come at a much later date, though, if, of course, we cross 14,600. For now, though, that's kind of where I have with Bitcoin. So it's a nice brief update. I'll see everyone again in the morning, where we talk more about what is going on with the on-chain metrics, the shorts, the longs, the liquidations, all that kind of stuff. So do join me in the morning on the live stream, guys. Until the next one, have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you then.